Yeah, it's a very good afternoon, and I'm sure it's morning where our guest is best. A very good morning to you, Mr. Titus Glenn. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Good morning to you. Well, good evening to you, because I know
Uh,
it's about 5 o'clock there. So good.
yeah,
Yes.
yes, this side is late afternoon, in between late afternoon and almost approaching evening. It's my pleasure to have you on the show, sir. My name is Stuart. And in short, they call me Stewie. I host motivational, inspiring shows, and it's my pleasure. I'm honored to have you, Titus Glenn, on my show. Welcome, you, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to for you to allow me to be here, and I'm just excited for the interview that's getting ready to take place.
You have been, we just kick the ball rolling now. You have been in the music industry for a while, and we are going to touch more about that. But for starters, there are people who are just coming. I'm seeing viewers, your friends, just watching us right now. In brief, what can we know about the musician, the songwriter called Titus Glenn? And where are you based? Something like that. You can make us know you better.
Okay. Well, I mean, for starters, I feel like I'm more one of the more relaxed personalities. I try to not meet a stranger. I'm very friendly, very approachable. So if you ever see me, don't be afraid to say hi. I'm a husband, father, singer, inspirational person like yourself. I love to inspire. I love to encourage. I love to push people to be everything that God has called them to be. I like to cook. I have moments where I like to cook, and I like to go to the movies. I'm not to all movies, but I do like to go to the movies, and I'm just even more involving into just learning different crafts and just continuing to evolve myself to learn new things.
Which is great. I like the part whereby you were saying you also like to cook. So I'm sure, with the grace of God, one day when I'm a visitor, I may get your place. You're
For
going to spoil
sure.
me. Specifically, I'm sure you're the one who is going to cook for me. I'm going to request to your family to say, everyone, please, can I have my meal cooked by my brother Titus? Okay, it's great.
Sure.
You have been in music, and which genre of your music do you sing and play yourself?
Okay.
What type of
I
music?
I primarily write gospel music. I've been known to write several songs in the gospel industry, and I've been writing. Oh my goodness, I've been writing for like 20 years. I started writing uh, as a way to teach songs to my family, the Granville family singers, and I've been writing ever since. And that writing has led to placements on artists like Marvin Sapp and Maurice Griffin and Bobby Jones. So, but recently I just started writing inspirational songs. So we'll pretty sure we'll talk about that later. But recently I started writing more inspirational songs, just for those that may not experience or listen to gospel music. Still the same message, but just writing it from a different view.
That's great. Today, this interview is going to be one of the most exciting ever since I started hosting my shows, my motivational shows, because I realized that you are loaded. You've got a lot which we are going to, ask and talk about. I want to check something. When I checked your biography, I realized that you're a songwriter. You're also into music. You sing music. And my question is, how does it feel being a gospel musician? I understand a lot of people, some of the people who are yet to know or who are yet to be born again. Some of them, they attend to leave all they are doing
Hmm.
to come before Christ just after maybe listening to a gospel musician. So, to yourself, how does it feel to be a gospel musician the way you are?
You know what? Being a gospel musician, there are good days and there are bad days. The good days outweigh the bad days when you get to see how your music is influencing other people. I get inboxes from people around the world just saying, "Hey, I just saw you on YouTube or heard you on Spotify, and your music is very life changing." So that is rewarding in itself to get those messages. And then you have moments to where you understand or you feel the pressure to make sure that you are living what you're saying, walking through what you're saying, because even through the things that you're going through comes more material to write about or sing about. So it's definitely a good at the end of the day, but I thoroughly enjoy being able to see how the gospel or what I'm writing about is impacting other people, and even to the point to where not they just don't listen to it one time, but they continue to either add it to their playlist or they share it with other people. So that's a blessing in itself.
Personally, since I'm sure for the past 2, 3 days, I've been listening to your music. I had to go to your YouTube channel, and my man, you are blessed. Somehow, I can confess here, I've been touched. I'm sure you need to
Wow.
keep on. You need to keep on doing that. That's a talent which many people, some they don't have. Us who don't have that talent, we are drawn closer to worshiping God through your music, through your singing. At the same time, I wanted to check something. You can't be just a gospel musician at your maybe the way you are right now. Who motivated you? Who inspired you to
What
be
is
what you are today?
Man, the inspiration I would just say came. I would say came from God. It came from being pulled to being called. I've been singing since I was 4 years old, and I believe my mom knew from that day that I was called. I was leading a song, and I just, in the midst of the song, I just started crying. And they have like two videos of me just singing and crying, and I believe in those moments, God was really showing me, even at an early age, at Titus, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you've been called to do. You know, I've tried corporate America. I've tried doing other things to figure out what it is I'm supposed to be doing. But when I write, when I sing, I'm at peace, and it brings about a understanding deep within that, hey, this is something that you're not going to run away from. This is something that you can't get away from, and that's how, I guess, that's the influence, is the tug, the pull from what I would say the Holy Ghost, and that says, hey, this is where you belong.
Look, my man, I'm sure today I'm going to sleep well because I'm talking to a man of God who have been singing gospel songs, which I'm sure at one time this show is blessed and I'm enjoying. But just trying to stretch you up to this day, how many albums have you managed to release since you started up until now?
How many albums? I full albums, I've been able to record three full albums, and I've been able to release about, I believe last year I released like four singles, and then I did two compilation albums of albums that I had on other people's CDs that I put together. So I called them Book of Titus 1, Volume 1, and then I got Book of Titus Volume 2. And so those albums are albums of songs that are placed on other people's albums that I wrote.
I'm sure you also released a single. I'm sure a single song or single album. I don't know how you call it, you guys in the music industry, but its title is called "Be a Light." Is it a recent one or maybe a previous one? Be
That's
a
the most
Light.
that's the most recent one. Be a Light is the most recent
Oh,
single that I released, and I
well done.
released. Thank you.
Well done. So my question now is, if it's a recent one.
Uh,
And myself, I enjoyed it. But in your country, there, in your communities where you are based, how is it being received so far?
it's being received very well. I have gotten several comments when I first released it. People put flames around it because they thought it was so hot, and so people are listening to it. People are grabbing hold to it. I think right now on Spotify, there's about 30,000 streams on on for Be a Light, and so it's continuing to get plays and streams and being added to playlist. I believe it even got on a country playlist on Spotify. So it's not just in gospel that the song has been impacted, but also on the inspirational side, is being received very well.
So I wanted to check something. Yourself, you've got some albums which are in your name, and maybe some singles which you did, and you did them quite very well. I wanted to check something. Have you ever done collaborations with maybe other greater big musicians, gospel musicians, or
I have.
you
I've
talk of international? Yes.
I have worked with several gospel greats, or shared the stage with even. Candy West. I've shared the stage with Candy West, as well as Candy West was actually on my album, The Worshipper's Corner. I worked with Robert Seawright, who's a Grammy nominated, and he works with several people in the gospel industry, as well as I've shared the stage with Myron Butler, um, and that's just to name a few. Singing wise, I've shared the stage with Kiara Sheard, and I've directed a long time ago. I directed for Kim Burrell while she was a clinician for a gospel choir at Baylor University. So I have been blessed with work with and be in the presence of several people of what we would call the greats.
Oh, that's great, and we thank God for that. I'm sure it's every musician's goal and ambition to, at one time, mixing and mingling with these big names.
Right.
It inspires you, and it brings an element of also unity and togetherness, that you are not isolated, but at some point in time you also have that unity jailing with the other musicians. I just want to check, because of I mean, this advantage of internet, and you artists being able to reach out to your fans, your business associates, etc., through these social platforms. Are you also visible on these social platforms, YouTube, Facebook? And what is your username on those social platforms?
Yes, I'm available on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all under Titus Glenn. So if you uh, just put in www.facebook.com /Titus Glenn, and you'll find me there, as well as YouTube /Titus Glenn. If you go back to Facebook, I'm also listed under Titus Glenn Music Ministry, and then on under Instagram it's Titus Glenn as well. So I'm everywhere. I even got a TikTok. I got TikTok. So that's Titus J Glenn, I believe, on TikTok. I'm not really. I'm trying to get into TikTok. My kids are the ones that primarily do TikTok, and I just kind of get on the platform occasionally.
which is great. As I was checking your biography on the internet, I realized that at one time you once worked with the Grammy Award-winning producer. I'm sure his name is called Robert, something like that, and many others, like you mentioned, Candy West, etc. You mentioned all the names. What did you learn from you explained about working on them when I asked you about the collaborations, but I'm sure I forgot to also touch the issue of what did you benefit, what did you learn in regard to your talent and improving your the success of your journey from these big award-winning individuals.
I learned through the process of connecting with them the level of professionalism. They have a level of professionalism that I hadn't seen before. I remember when we recorded the Worshipers Corner, and I was so nervous because I was using a different band, and I was this was my it was my first solo project. And when Robert came in with Jimmy Wyatt and Tim Clifton and Kevin played bass, and they came in and they learned the music in like a week. And when we got to the live recording, it was just like they had rehearsed it for months. And just even with Candy West, having her on the project, it was just like these people they come in, they know what they're doing, and it's easier to work with. And so from that, I've tried to not only know my craft but be professional when I'm working in my lane and doing what I've been called to do. Because it's one thing to do what you're called to do and be professional, but it's another thing to do it and do it in a way that turns people off. So I try to do it in a way that's tasteful and making sure that I'm representing God the best way I know how.
That's good. I like the part whereby you are explaining. It's more like you'll be trying to strike a balance.
Yes.
Trying by your best to also do your talent, but at the same time, on that same vein, you are trying also to, um, provide and
Yes.
offer people the word of God, which is very, very good, very excellent. And I'm sure that part alone, I'm sure myself, I can salute you. 2006, Titus Glenn and Unity Voice, you released a debut album. I'm sure maybe I can say that was your first time to
Yes.
manage to release an album. 2006, and now my question is, how was the feeling being able to release an album? And by then, how was the album received? It was your first time, and how was your feeling yourself and Unity Voice?
Titus Glenn and United Voices 2006. Man, that was uh I'm trying to find the word to put it because that definitely was my first album putting together live, putting together band. Well, the band was already put together because we was already formed as a group. And so as the leader of the group, pulling everybody in, writing songs, um, making it happen was, I think that was a game changer for me because I had never done it before. And so the game changer was, wow, Titus, you can do it. Like it's not as hard as it takes a lot of work. It's hard getting started, but once it was done, it was like, wow, we did it. And so that first project taught me that if you want something, if you put your mind around doing it, then it can get done. I had a vision for it. We I had a vision to do a song in like three different languages, and the vision came to pass. I wrote a song, and the tag we did in it was an African dialect, and we did it in Spanish, and we did it in a Japan dialect, and it was just like I ran into somebody that was from Japan, and I asked him how to say I'm in love with you, Jesus. And it was just the way that it was put together for God to for me to run into certain people so that I can make it happen. It's just like the doors were opened. And so it was that project in itself was again a game changer to let me know that almost like another affirmation that this is what I've been called to do.
That's great. Then there was a time, 2010. What then motivated you to then you release your first solo album, and that album is called The Worshipper's Corner. Was called The Worshipper's Corner. What motivated you to give that album that title? What was the secret behind? What was the reason behind you giving that title to your first solo album?
That album stemmed from just the changes that I was going through with with that's when I went solo with the group that we were coming out of college, people were growing up, and it was just I felt like God was saying, okay, it's time for you to stand on your own. And so for me, the worshiper's corner is pretty much about God putting me in isolation, really, to really consult Him, be in His presence, and just really spend time with Him. So that in itself, the worshiper's corner, that's I will say that if you're looking for a praise and worship album from Titus Glenn, the worshiper's corner, that's a praise and worship album.
So we can safely say that it was more, or it is still more into praise and worship. And maybe on that particular day, myself, my heart, I just want to listen. My spirit, I want to commit myself and have to listen to praise and worship. I can just go to the worshiper's corner, and then it can turn everything to bring my soul nearer to God, right?
Yes, that's if you need to set an atmosphere, whether it's for church, whether it's for worship, that is the album that I would suggest you go download and listen to. There's a spontaneous worship that was birthed um, out of that concert or that worship experience, and that in itself was like 10 minutes long if you just wanted just like worship in your church or worship in your car. It's just a 10-minute set where we just go, and it was just a spontaneous moment that I decided to keep on the album so that people could experience what we experienced at the live recording.
Uh, One of or amongst the activities you do yourself, amongst your talents, you are also a songwriter. If I'm getting what I read very correct, you are a songwriter, and you wrote a lot of your own songs on your albums. But have you ever been approached, or have you ever had a situation, a scenario whereby maybe other musicians you can songwrite not for your song but for other musicians? Have you ever helped other musicians that way?
Yes, I have definitely have others write, as well as have my songs on other people's albums. So I have a song on Marvin Sapp's "I Win" album called "Leaning." On Bobby Jones, I have two songs on there called "Let's Praise the Lord," and one is called "Nobody Like You." Recently, I was blessed to co-write with Maurice Griffin, and he is currently top 30 on Billboard. So that is an extreme blessing to be a songwriter on a placement that is on currently on Billboard. Billboard Top 30, which is accomplishment in itself as a songwriter. So that, and then I have other songs that's been placed on indie artists. Uh, there's a choir out of Atlanta. There's a choir out of Oklahoma that I've been blessed to have my writings on as well.
There's a song I'm sure which you co-wrote, and it's on the gospel charts, top 30, and I'm sure it's doing well. A current single which you yourself you co-wrote, something like that. Can you try to shed more lights there? But because I checked on the internet and I realized that no, we are talking of a big man here, but we need more information. We need more and understand how are you
So
managing and what's the feeling? You are on top 30. I'm sure gospel chart top
I
30 in
mean,
your country.
it's extremely exciting. I mean, I can't even put into words how excited I am. And every week I'm looking at the charts to to almost pinch myself because I can't really believe it sometimes that I have a song that's in the top 30. Um, again, the song is "Prove Me I'm Yours." If I didn't mention the song, it's "Prove Me I'm Yours" by Maurice Griffin. It's streaming on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's on Apple Music. So I would encourage everyone to go download it, stream it. Prove me I'm yours. Currently top 30 on gospel Billboard charts.
That's great and awesome, my brother. And even myself, I'm just feeling. I'm assuming I'm yourself, and I can feel how you experiencing the achievement which you have made so far. Then we are just drifting because I'm sure you have got a lot. We can spend the whole day, but to cut the long story short, you also have an album. Is this a single which is called Never, September 2017? The word never might make a lot of us, it will be like,
Question.
what does it mean? I mean, what was the message? I mean, never, what were you trying to put across on that single, which I'm sure you released it September 2017?
Yes. So never is basically my heart's cry to God to say, never, God, can I make it without you. So whether I'm doing good or bad, it's just a declaration like never, never going to make without you, Lord. So I won't even try. I won't try to do it on my own. I won't try to do it in my own strength. Never can I accomplish anything without you leading, guiding, or pulling me through. So that's simply what the song is saying. Never, 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 never going to make it without you.
That's great. That's great. With all these achievements and efforts which you are doing yourself, we are almost winding up now, and I want to check something. Are you having a future projects which you are doing as of now, or you are just sailing on the I mean, good news. You are on the top 30, and you are doing very well. Maybe you are relaxed. Are we going to have any future projects? Are you doing something for the future? This
There's
2020?
there's definitely music that I am going to release in 2020. Working on an acoustic project that been put on my heart to do with songs that I've released before, but putting a different twist on them, if you will. As well as I'm working on a project with the group of writers that I'm working with. Work with some writers under Pen and Heart, which is a company that I started recently to give other songwriters a platform to write and share their gift and us grow together as writers. And so definitely releasing that project this year. There's actually a song that we've already recorded that was birthed from a writing session. So I have several projects that I'm currently working on that I plan on releasing in 2020.
Then, lastly, there is this pen and heart. Pen and heart. What is it all about?
Penny Heart is simply put, it's a writing community. It's a community of people that either songwrite or want to learn how to songwrite, and we're coming together and we're writing songs, and we're critiquing. We are I'm teaching how to write a song, whether you be a novice or a beginner, conversing back and forth on how to bring the message across the way it needs to be brought across in a particular song. So just different angles about songwriting, but at the end of the day, making sure that we we write a song, and that we come out with a song that's going to not just touch us but touch other people.
So in short, it's more like you're providing a service to the community. Maybe you are identifying those who have got talent and they want to be nurtured, maybe to follow your footsteps. Is it what
Yes.
you're saying?
Yes, to
Okay.
follow my footsteps, to grow in their writing, to network with other writers. So if you hop on, we are writing on Mondays at 8:30 Central Standard Time. All you have to do is inbox me, and I just have if we're not too full, I send you a Zoom link and you can join us, and we just get on. I teach a little bit, we do some activities, and then we write a song.
So are you saying maybe you mainly target, I mean, those who are in America, those who are in Texas? You said you're in Texas, right?
Yes, I'm in Texas, Dallas, Texas. Yes, sir.
So are you saying, what about me? I'm not there, but I've got a passion to join you. What will happen? Or I must be physically in Texas to be part of this noble idea of nurturing maybe my talent. How do you work on those people who are very far or who are in other cities far from Texas?
So if you are in another city, we're actually doing Zoom, so we're not even together. Like we are writing from our own, the comfort of our home or your office, wherever you are. I have people calling in from. I have a radio announcer who just comes in after he, shuts down the station, and he just streams from his office. And so, if you are in Africa, England, Italy, and you want to write, or Turkey, you want to write with us, just inbox me your information, and I will let you know the dates that we have available for you to write, and we will set it up, and we will get things rolling for you.
That's great, awesome, and wonderful. Mr. Titus, it's been a pleasure and
Thank you
it's
so
been
much.
wonderful. It's been wonderful hosting you. And in some way, somewhere, I realized that we are born with a lot of talents, and I'm sure it's a matter of one to try to identify and then maybe make it exposed. And the rest is it will be God who will be
Yes.
guiding us. I'm happy to hear that you are a musician. You are a songwriter.
Hmm.
You did a lot of collaborations with great, personalities in the gospel music industry in your country. You've got a single which is topping the, which is on the top 30 and is doing very well.
Yes,
So
sir.
myself and my wish is just to see you prospering. I want to see your programs on your YouTube channel. And I also want to see or to hear, and I will try to join again that community help which you are trying to drive and push that pen and heart, whereby you're saying those who are talented and who want to be nurtured, you are helping them through this platform. So myself, I'm thankful and I'm happy to have someone of your capacity on the show. What I'm just now seeking from you is, can you say something to the followers as goodbye?
Sure. I want to say goodbye. I say see you later. So
Oh, yes, yes, because we are going to have you. We are also going to make an arrangement to have you again. You are very correct. So yes, you can.
So I would just encourage those that are watching is that if God has called you to do something, don't be afraid. Yes, it might be fearful. It might be you might feel fearful, but don't be afraid to walk out. That's where your blessing is. That's where your wealth is. You are not called to be under anybody in the sense of just bringing somebody else's vision to life, but you are also called to bring your own vision to life. So just continue to just push and walk, and God will bring it to pass.
Thank you so much, Mr. Titus Glenn. And just know that we have made a promise today. When I visit you, I want you to cook for myself.
Yes.
The first meal is gonna be yourself cooking.
Okay. And we will make that happen. We will.
Yeah, thank you so much. May the good Lord bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me.